Folks, we're back again. Now, excuse me, I had a dry throat. Now, the question we're trying to answer is, how can we create more believability when we create marketing messages or messaging even for our customers? Now, in terms of landing pages or even our ads, whether that's Facebook ad or Google ad, how do we create more trust? Because that's the important thing. That's the currency that's lacking nowadays. Trust. People don't trust businesses because the market's inundated with all of these promises that people have seen, people have been burnt, so trust is low. So what do we do to create believability and credibility in what we're saying? And one of the things that I want to highlight is that when you're trying to create trust with you and the buyer or the customer or the prospect, whoever you call them, or the client, if you yourself is telling them this is why we're great and we're the best X, Y, and Z, that's going to be automatically discounted because people are not going to believe. Of course, you're going to say you're the best. So what do you need then? You need undeniable social proof. You need social proof that's irrefutable. It's there. It can't be, nobody can say it's not true. It's in your face. Now, when it comes to social proof, a lot of people go about it the wrong way. And one of the most important things we're going to talk about today is not using vague language to explain how you're better or how you've gotten results for people. So one of the things that when we're looking at social proof that you need to take into consideration is if somebody's saying something, like say for example, I bought something from you and I've left a review. Now somebody else is reading that review. They're also, what's going on in their head is like, okay, is this recommendation, is it talking about the product or the service and the results it's provided for me, or is it talking about me? So is the recommendation talking about the thing or the recommender? So that's the difference. And a lot of social proof or a lot of like reviews, they tend to be vague. For example, it will say something like, this worked so great, I can't believe it, or I'm so amazed by the results that we've gotten. That's good and well, but that doesn't tell the potential client, the potential customer, the news that they want, because people don't care about, quite frankly, people don't care about if they got great results. They care about, okay, what was the specifics? And that's what we need to get right. Specificity. We need to bring in numbers. For example, we need to say, by starting the marketing campaign with Ogilvy, obviously Ogilvy is not my business, but it's just an example. By starting the campaign with Ogilvy, we were able to increase our conversion rate on our landing page to 25%. Now, that's specific. Now, there's another aspect of, getting social proof right that you need to bear in mind, and that's representation or identification. One of the things that people are looking for and what they've got in the back of their heads, like when they see a recommendation or they see a review, they're saying, okay, great, but will this work for me? Because a lot of us think we're special snowflakes, so things might not work for us, but still it's valid. So with social proof, it needs to be specific. So add in numbers, facts, and then it also needs to be able to identify with a certain target market. Let's say you run marketing services for service-based businesses. So let's say you deal with real estate people, you deal with accountants, you deal with lawyers, but let's say you didn't have results that document or showcase that you're able to get results for a lawyer. They might be looking at these testimonials or these reviews thinking, okay, these people have gotten results, but it might not work for me, because that's just how it is. Representation is an important thing when it comes to social proof, and that's why you need to be specific. And the social proof that you provide needs to be diverse. It can't just be for one sort of demographic. It needs to be, if you're working with as I said, accountants or lawyers or people in real estate. You need to be showing results of real people getting real results. Now, let's talk about also how to construct your social proof when you're doing it in the form of reviews. Don't just put the quotes. A lot of times you go on websites, you see quotes alone of what people say. To make it more believable, because remember, trust is low, add the person, add a picture. Can you even get a video? So you want real people, real quotes, real numbers. Remember that? Real people, real quotes, real numbers. Get them to tell a story. So get them to say what their when they came to you, what was the problem they were facing, and then also let them talk themselves through the journey. So what was the outcome at the end, and what happened at the in what problem were they facing initially. So that way you're building a picture and you're building it in the form of a story, which is very powerful. So also on your landing pages, or in your, especially your landing pages, because that's what we talk about on this channel. On your landing page, which is your digital salesperson, you want to amalgamate all the different types of social proof. So for example, people like us, we just spoke about representation. You want to talk about third party reviews, so like Google reviews. You want to talk about proof like authority proof, where you show you working with big name brands that people know and trust. That's another. That's three. What's the other one? I've written them down. So yeah, so authority proof, third party proof, also case studies and testimonials, because case studies actually gets into the nitty gritty of social proof, where it's like you're showing the before state, and then you're showing the after state. What was the outcome, the end result, and that way you can paint a picture to say, yes, we are legit and we can get results for people. Also, as I said, going back to what makes social proof credible, with case studies or with testimonials, it's real people telling their real stories. It's like the raw, authentic reactions of how they felt at the start and then how they feel it now. And if they say, okay, we recommend this company, this business, we recommend this service or this product, then it bears more weight than if you just put together some quotes and slap some quick Google review that's vague. Now, for good measure, I'm going to show you an example of what I mean by amalgamating or pulling different types of social proofs into your websites or your landing pages or even your ads, to make your website that pulls together all the different types of social proof about. And I'll show you how they've documented it and put it into different parts of their landing page to make into it. By the way, guys, not that you asked, but I'm absolutely loving the sun on my skin right now, because it's like winter time in the UK. Anyways, let's get into it. So you see, okay, actually, is this the home page? Right. So you see straight away, they're really heavy on their social proof aspect. You remember how I said to use authority type social proof? So this company that's called Conversion Rate Experts, they've worked with Google, Facebook, Amazon, Apple, Booking.com, Dropbox. Unless you've been living under a rock, of course you've heard about these companies. One of them we probably use every day. Well, most of them we use every day. So straight away you see that authority there. So it's like, oh, okay, these guys are legit. And look at this collage of people. These are, as you remember what I said, real people, real faces, saying real words, and talking about in specifics the results they've got by using this company. So there you go. And then here you see where they have their case study. So you see how they're putting together different types of social proof on their page to make them be credible and sort of a authority figure in their space of conversion optimization. So then here you go. So look at it. What I want you guys to pay attention to this. So, you know, earlier on where I spoke about not making your reviews vague. For example, really extraordinary off the chart results. That's vague, but because it's coming from Google, it's like, oh well, this guy works at Google, so it has, it must be legit. But for example, if you own a small business and you're doing reviews, make sure the reviews are much more specific. Get numbers in there. What was the end result of them using your product? But this can work because it's Google that's saying it. It's not just any random person. There's a name and a face and what he does as well. So that's what it means. Make your social proof specific. So let's click on to see their case studies. So you see, and I like this bit that they've used here where they say, our results are second to none. Hence, this page is 24 feet long. So, it's like that heuristic length. It's called LISH, which is length implies strength. So the more you tell, the more you sell. So look, in fact, this page contains 109 testimonials from different people from different niches. We don't only work with only giants of the web. Our clients include many small to medium-sized business. And the reason why they've done that is that because a lot of us, if you're a small time business, or you're a small business owner or medium-sized business owner, and you see this, you're gonna be like, well, I ain't no Google or Facebook or Amazon, so these guys might not be for me. So that is why they've put that there. So it's like, what I said, representation is important. It's important that you have representation in your social proof. So because people are going to think, well, yeah, it might work for Google, but I ain't Google. This might not work for me. Representation is important, guys. So when you scroll down here, you see all the testimonials, and then you see they made sure that they put the niches. So you can be like, okay, well, I'm not e-commerce, but actually I'm health and fitness. So you can click in health and fitness and see results from there. And one trick to get people to really pay attention to your social proof, or the proof that you're providing, is called forced consumption. So let's say you have a transcript of what somebody said about the results they've gotten from you. To get people to read into it, you take like an important part from the transcript that somebody said, and then you highlight it in like bold. So for example, they increased our conversion rate by 300%. Now, do you see how I say to speak in specifics and numbers? That's tangible. People can understand that. Whereas really extraordinary off the chart results doesn't actually say much, which is fine if you've got a mixture. Say, so it doesn't all have to be specific. You can have, as long as you have a variation of different types of social proof, or people saying different things, but as long as most of it is specific and people can actually get a real feel for the results they could possibly get if they worked with you. See, and as you go down, and the beautiful thing here as well, guys, they've got the video, and then they got the transcript. If somebody doesn't want to watch the video, they just want to read. So they're not making you think, which is important. Don't make your customer, don't make your client think. They don't want to think. So, and then you can click to watch the video. I'm not going to watch the video, but let's just go into one of them here. Is my internet acting up? Okay, cool. Look, and then a short video with the client, real person talking about real results, real authentic. It's not like a random quote and then you don't know who said it. And then it's the credibility there. My name is Jacob Stark. I'm the director of digital strategy. You could then go away and search this person up. You don't necessarily need to stay on it, because, like, for example, if you're like, nah, I still don't believe him, you can, okay, this is actually legit business, a legit person. So you see, this is no funny business. And see how I said about the forced consumption? Before using conversion rate expert, it was a lot of guessing. This is something people can resonate with. And it's basically telling a story. I'm not going to go through all of it here, but you can see how they've taken out certain important bits that the person have said, and they've reiterated it here in so you can sort of take, because one thing you need to remember, when people are on websites, landing pages or wherever, they're not reading, they're scanning. So it's important to highlight important information that you feel would be important to them or have some meaning, and document it and highlight it where they can scan it, because people don't read, they scan. So let's go back out. So as you scroll down, how much proof do you need until you believe? And again, as I said, real people saying real things with real numbers, from 70 million to 31 million per year. That's compelling. You can't lie about that. You have to back it up. So they're not going to put that if it's not true. One of the things to notice is that if you see a business that doesn't talk in specifics, sorry, you just know that they're probably not sure about what they're saying. So that's why you need to be specific when in your business. Tell the full story. Here again, just look at your website and consider what your world would be like if you doubled or tripled your conversion rate, because that is a kind of success they generate. They understand conversion, apply it, and they get results. Yeah, so it's like, this is how you put together real proof and credibility, and this is how people believe you. Because how long are you going to scroll before you start believing, like, actually I think these guys are legit. Yeah, so this is one to consider when you're constructing your landing page and you're putting social proof together. Always try to use real people, get their actual real authentic account of the results they've gotten, and show the journey, show the before state and the after state, because that's what people are interested in. And again, as I said, to end, representation, make sure it's showing people like them in their niche, their type of business. Do you remember at the start where I said, because these guys are working with big billion-dollar businesses, if you was a small business or small to medium business owner, you probably be a little bit put off with, like, okay, I'm not these heavyweights, I am a small business owner. But they've made sure that they've said to our clients include many small, medium-sized businesses. So they added the necessary identification and necessary representation in there. I hope you found value in this video in terms of how you should use social proof on your pages. And one thing, again, I just remember this: don't just use social proof once. Get it as much as possible. Do you know what I mean? The more you tell, the more you sell. Remember that. So the more social proof, the better. And what that does is put people on autopilot, where they're not actually thinking analytical, and like, oh shit, is this a ripoff? Are they gonna take me for my money and not get me results? The more you tell, the more you sell, and the more actual case studies, the more testimonials, the more real stories you can tell of transformation, the better that will be for your business. Again, now, if you found value in this video, like, subscribe, and share this video. Also, drop a comment. If there's anything that you weren't unsure of that you want me to go over or explain further, then please do so. I'd love to hear from you guys. Also, if you want to higher conversion for your landing page, then subscribe to or try my newsletter. You can unsubscribe at any time you want. In there, I drop principles that's going to boost your conversions, and it's backed by first principles and behavioral science. I don't do tactics, guys. Well, I'm not saying tactics don't work. I only deal in principles, because principles last for a long time. You don't have to be changing to the next trend or the next best thing. When you lead with principles, then you can always rest assured you're on the right track. So that is it for today, and I will catch you in the next one. Peace.